Hey there, I am Christine Collins, and I wanted to give you today a few really simple neuroscience facts that you can apply directly to your content to make it more engaging, more interesting to your audience, and also to help them to better internalize the information that you're providing and make it easier for them to take future action with your work. So here's the first number that I want to share with you. That number is 20 seconds. 20 seconds is the amount of time you have to captivate your audience's attention and to show them that the thing that you are sharing with them, whether that is audio, video, written text, or visual image, is relevant to them in such a way that it's going to actually capture their attention and cause them to look or read or listen further. The second number I want to share with you is 15 to 20 minutes. And that is the amount of time that you have in order to convey a message to the person that you're talking to, whether you are conducting a webinar, recording a video, or expressing yourself in some other form. 20 minutes is the amount of time that you have their attention in which they are capable of continuing to internalize information. Anything longer than 20 minutes, and then you need to take a break. If you do decide to go 20 minutes or longer and take that break, you need to make sure that break is at least 10 minutes of non-informational, non-educational content, so you can be kind of chatting or doing something else or giving them the opportunity to get up and move around. This is obviously extremely important if you are conducting a longer term type of information or educational content like a webinar or a training or a workshop as well. The next number that I want to share with you is 24 hours, and that is the amount of time that your audience has in order to internalize that new information by applying it in their life or in their business in some way. So whatever it is that you have imparted to them, whether you're teaching them something or you're having some kind of a back and forth dialogue, somewhere within the next 24 hours immediately following that discussion, it's really important that they have a way to implement what they've learned. Otherwise, it's lost into the ethers of our minds, which, as I'm sure you know, our minds are a very busy place, and there's a lot of information and content of all kinds coming at us everywhere, from our businesses to managing family issues to reading our favorite book. I mean, everything that we're trying to digest and take in is competing with each other for space in our memory and in our brains. So if your goal is to teach them a new skill, or if your goal is to help them to digest something that's really important and really relevant for them that you know about, you have to give them some kind of a takeaway item to internalize that information. And then the final number is, it's not a number, it is related to consistency. And it has to do with regular intervals of sharing what you know and giving digestible content to your audience. And that just emphasizes the importance of being consistent, regularly showing up, making sure that you have a plan for regularly appearing before your audience in some way with your content, and reinforcing that message, that information that you are trying to share with them. So now what we want to do is take some of these numbers and make them very tangible and figure out how we can apply this great neuroscience information directly to our content and to our businesses. So that first number that we talked about, that 20 seconds, how can we apply that to content? Well, it's really important that within the first 20 seconds, you have managed to quickly and efficiently captured the attention of your audience. So there are a number of ways that you can do that. You can do that with an image. You can do that with your text by asking a really juicy, engaging question that's going to cause them to kind of sit up and go, oh, this looks interesting. Is this relevant to me? And the relevance is the key. You have to make sure that whatever you're doing in that first 20 seconds is capturing the relevance to that person who is your ideal client, who is your ideal audience, and letting them know that what's coming next is going to be important for them to pay attention to and to listen to. The next one that we talked about was that 15 to 20 minute window. So that is the amount of time that we can continue to captivate their attention. So once we have them listening to us after that 20 seconds happens, we now have a 15 to 20 minute period in which they are capable of being attentive. And it's not that you're boring or they're not interested. It's simply neuroscience. This is just the way the brain works. We are able to devote our attention span for about 15 to 20 minutes before we simply tune out. And there's really nothing that can be done about that except for giving them a break. And that's really essential. So make sure when you're planning a webinar, a workshop, or even a longer video that after 15 to 20 minutes, and honestly, I would suggest that you err on the side of shorter rather than longer in terms of making sure that they don't tune out, because of course this is an estimate and every individual is a little bit different. So you may have people in your audience who are going to tune out after 12 minutes or 10 minutes. So make sure that you keep the segmented content in these nice, sweet, little digestible intervals. So 15 to 20 minutes, get your most important information out there first because you already have their attention, and then be sure that you're giving a break of at least 10 minutes before you bring them back in and begin to share out more details and more things for them to digest mentally. Now, that final number that we talked about was the within 24 hours in terms of cementing what it is that they've learned from you. So they have to find a way within that 24 hours after taking in this great information, how to make it applicable to their life, to their business, to whatever it is you're trying to help them with. So make sure that you also provide them with some kind of a takeaway, an action item. Now, that doesn't have to be a task. We all know that our audience is busy, as are we, and most people don't love the idea of being given an extra to-do item. But in some small way, you can offer them an easy one-step takeaway action item for them to do. So don't give them, an essay to write. Don't give them hours-long tasks to complete in order to internalize this information. Give them something digestible, bite-sized, small, and simple, but something that they can do immediately. And the simpler that takeaway item is, the more likely they will be to do it right away within that 24-hour period. If you give them something that's really large, even though it may seem like it's really beneficial, they just may not be able to get to it within that 24-hour period. And then finally, make sure that you are showing up consistently at those regular intervals so that they can continue to interface with you and with your content and all of that genius that you are bringing forward to them, because that consistency is really important in terms of reinforcement of what you've just taught them. So I hope this information is helpful for you, and in the spirit of giving you a very simple and easy takeaway, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to write anything down, but take 1 minute and see if you can take any one of these things and come up with a simple way that the next time you do content, you can implement it. So maybe that is using the 20-second rule of capturing their attention with a nice image, or capturing their attention with a simple question that shows them that this content will be relevant for them. Perhaps it is that you're going to commit to keeping all of your videos shorter than 15 minutes, that you're going to come up with your own simple takeaways at the end of any one of your training sessions or videos or podcasts, so that your audience has a way to implement what you're teaching them within that 24-hour period. So I hope you are able to come up with something really simple for yourself. I'm sure that you can. And if you're interested in seeing more about my work, you can check me out at transformcreate.com. And in the meantime, dear magical ladies, I hope that you have an absolutely magical and creative rest of your day.